Hey guys, I'm Martin and welcome to Carolina Arsenal. Today we're looking at the Phoenix Rising LBC Slug, which is a limited bore contact slug and basically a sabot slug. Now this slug is an ounce and it's in a 2 3/4 inch shell, and you can see if it'll focus a little bit better, you'll see how pointy that slug is inside the hull. And we're going to be comparing it against a 3-inch Magnum Federal 1 1/4 ounce slug on all 4 of our different targets that we're going to be shooting today. Now granted, it may not be an exact even comparison, but with every round that I've shot from the Phoenix Rising brand, it's exceeded my expectations. So who knows, it may outperform or perform equal to a more powerful slug or a different weight class of slug. So let's see what it does. We're going to be shooting against a reactive paper target, a steel plate, just to see if we can see the damage or how much pressure it is when the slugs impact them. Now obviously I don't imagine that they'll penetrate a steel plate, but we'll be looking at that just to see how much of a bend or a bulge that they put into that plate. And then we're going to go to water jugs in a side-by-side comparison also, and watermelons just for a little bit of fun. So let's get started and enjoy some shooting. Alright guys, so test number 1 is against a paper reactive target, and we are going to see the Federal 3-inch high brass shell first, and now that slug weighs 1 1/4 ounces. And then we're going to go on to the LBC slug, which only weighs 1 ounce but should be moving faster. So let's see, we're roughly probably 25 yards at the most away from it. So let's see if I can do my part, and let's see how accurate both of them are side by side. Alright, so they both impacted really close to each other. So I'm going to run up there and we'll give you guys a close-up real quick. Alright, so we're up here at the target. This low shot was the 3-inch Magnum, and this shot here was the LBC Slug, so I consider that a tolerable spread, especially between 2 different rounds. So, alright, let's move on to the steel plate. Alright guys, so we're moving on to the second stage of the test, which is a comparison on the steel plate, just to compare the impacts of the 2 slugs and to see which one can bend or change the plate more than the other one. First up is the Federal once again. Alright guys, so we're here at the steel plate. I don't know if you can see, but that one, this one here was a slug from another video, but this one here is probably, gosh, it is maybe a 1/2 inch or maybe even 3/4 of an inch pushed out. And this is a 1/4 inch plate, and that lower one down here is the LBC slug. This is the Federal slug here. It's about 3/4 of that, so it hit with a little bit less force, but I can still consider that pretty powerful, considering that that slug is a shorter hull and is not a Magnum slug. But we'll see the damage between the two here when we move on to the water jug and watermelon test. The materials are going to be a little bit different. Alright guys, so now we're moving on to the third stage of the review. And we're going to do the watermelon test just for the fun of it, just to show the energy of them. And then we're going to look at the penetration of each one through 3 water jugs. Let's see which one gets the furthest. First up on the watermelon on the upper right is going to be the Federal 3-inch shell. That definitely did its job. Watermelon's gone everywhere, probably a good 20 yards or more each direction. Let's see the lower one. It's gone everywhere too. So they definitely do their job. Alright guys, so last but not least, let's do the water jug test. I'm just going to do them one right after another and see if we can't find both of the projectiles. I did find one of the projectiles from the steel plate, so I'll show you that here in our closing remarks. But let's look at these water jugs real quick. First again is the Federal 3-inch. I suspect since it's a little bit bigger slug, it'll probably stop faster. Where the skinnier slug may penetrate more. So let's check it out. Alright, let me go reset the other ones real quick. Alright, get those water jugs set back up. That 3-inch shell hit so hard that it messed up all 6 of the jugs. It threw the ones to the side, off to the side even further. So let's try out the Phoenix Rising slug now. Alright, so let's take you up there because there's a definite difference between the two. Alright, so these two jugs here, this was the first jug with the Federal load. This was a jug that I had set up over on that side for the Phoenix slug, but was thrown out of the way and popped. So here's the second slug from the Federal, or second jug from the Federal round. It never even made it to the third round, so it went through 2 and busted the one that wasn't in line for it, and busted it, and it was even intended for the Phoenix slug. Now the Phoenix slug, I borrowed that third water jug from the Federal one since it didn't make it into it, but the Phoenix slug went all through 3, hit this piece of railroad tie, and bounced back into third jug. So it did exactly what I thought it would do. The skinnier profile of the slug and the high speed of it allowed it to penetrate more than the fatter, slower slug. So it does live up to its expectation and design of being a deeper penetrator. So this would be perfect for large game or dangerous game, just like as advertised. Alright guys, so in closing today, the LBC Slug did very, very well. It was against some tough competition, but however, it outperformed on the water jug test, and I would say it did real close to equal, even though it's a little bit less powerful shell, to that slug against the steel plate. Both of them proved to be pretty accurate, as you guys saw once already. Of course, that was only about 20 to 25 yards at the most. This slug far exceeded my expectations, but it did exactly what I thought it was going to on the water jugs. This wider, slower moving slug only made it through 2, and it's meant to expand more. This one, however, the LBC Slug, is not designed to expand that much more. It's designed for deeper penetration, and it did exactly that. So I'm looking forward to using it in the future on some maybe dangerous game hunts, or you know, maybe just goofing off too. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time, and have a nice day.